I watch YouTube too much, and to be honest, you probably do too. There's just something about the platform that makes it so hard to pull away from, and you can't really replicate that in something like a game. Or can you? In order to break this curse, I'm about to make a game about watching YouTube, but if I fail, we'll all be stuck in our basements watching YouTube videos forever. Now the first step to making a game about watching YouTube is to figure out how the heck I'm supposed to make a game about watching YouTube. After about an hour of brainstorming, I came up with an idea where you're served 4 thumbnails, and it's your job to select one to basically maximize your enjoyment bar. This is almost exactly like real YouTube, so I figure if it worked for them, it's gotta work for me. But I'm worried about this idea. You see, I'm used to making games with a solid player character that you can control, and this is not at all like that, so I'm worried that I'll mess it all up and won't be able to even get the prototype working, which would be a huge waste of time. So in order to regain my motivation, I'm going to use this device to call myself 2 hours in the future and see how it's going. It's a compass.
Hey future me, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
I was just wondering whether you've been able to get the prototype of the game working yet.
The prototype? I already finished the entire game.
In 2 hours?
Yeah, it was like really easy.
Then how am I supposed to make a video about it?
So, with my newfound motivation, I got to work on the game. The first step was to create a customizable thumbnail, which I made just by adding Godot's texture button. It has 3 customizable variables: enjoyment, intelligence, and motivation, and it also has a texture you can set so that it can be a different thumbnail every time. I finished up and things were looking up for ending my YouTube addiction. Next, it was time to build a game loop. I started by just creating a grid of 4 thumbnails, and since that was so easy, I then moved on to the code. The code chooses a random number for each thumbnail and uses that to assign its stats as well as its texture, so it's a different thumbnail every time. Speaking of which, I should probably create stats and textures now. I chose to have 25 thumbnails, which means there will be repeats, but since I get repeats all the time on real YouTube, I figure that's not much of a problem. To get these thumbnails, I originally planned on creating 25 unique thumbnails, but then I realized it would be easier to just screenshot ones I found on YouTube, so I just searched around for a bit and found 25 of them. They were really low resolution, so I imported them as pixel art, which made them less fuzzy, but also made them look a bit pixelated. So now the game was mostly finished, and I could already feel my YouTube addiction withering. But then I looked at the clock, and I realized there were 30 minutes left. What was I missing? And then suddenly I remembered that there were no stats in the game yet, and clicking a video did nothing. So I went in and I rushed to assign each of the 3 stats for all the videos. This was a whole lot easier for the videos I'd actually watched. This was also taking forever, but that's just because the system I designed in the beginning was very inefficient and I didn't have time to write a new one. So I just kept on going because I knew I had to save us all from YouTube. I finished with about 10 minutes left, but there was still more to do. I needed to find a way to combine all the stats into one score, so I made a simple formula where the final score is 3 times your enjoyment score, plus 2 times the motivation score, and 1 times the video's intelligence score, because everybody cares more about enjoyment than learning. So now all I had to do was make the score go down, and this was pretty simple. I just took the average amount of points you get from a video and subtracted that every time you click, so you have to accurately choose a video to not lose points. To finish up, I added a health bar and made it accurately indicate your score. So now I had successfully created the game, but now for the real question: did it save me from my YouTube addiction? And the answer is no. It did absolutely nothing and I'm still watching YouTube, but in that case you probably are too, so you could go watch this video where I created a game built out of Legos. Subscribe!